A warm good morning to all. I welcome you all for Toppers Talk Series 8, How to Top the UPSC Exam, Strategies for Success by Ms. Aswathy Jiji IPS, All India Rank Holder 41 in UPSC Civil Services Exam. Now I request our beloved Principal Ma'am, Dr. Devasundari, to give the welcome address. Please, Ma'am.
Thank you, Ramya. Good morning to all. It's a pleasure always, to welcome you all this morning for this 8th session on Toppers Talk by Ms. Aswathy, IPS Officer of 2020 batch. Actually, though the series, this is the 8th session, every session had something unique in it, something very inspiring from the speakers. And today also we have a very inspiring officer of 2020 batch with us, Ms. Aswathy Jiji. And looking at her profile and reading, Aswathy, it was really a pleasure, to know that you chose IPS because you want a field where women are less in it, and you want to be an inspiring, motivating factor for other women out there looking for this service. So it's very inspiring and highly motivating for us to see such passionate officers getting into service also. Welcoming you for today's session and wishing you all the very best in your career and life also.
Thank you.
And I'm also sure today's session will enlighten all the aspirants who have joined today from our campus and also the other external participants from different states who are looking to clear the exam in the coming years. Welcome you all for this virtual session. I also extend my warm welcome to our dean, heads of departments, all my colleagues and my dear students who have joined today. Let's not waste time. Let's hear from Aswathy what she has to motivate us. Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, Aswathy, for accepting our invite.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure also that I got such a platform.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm immensely happy to introduce our eminent person, Ms. Aswathy Jiji IPS, who is the guest speaker today. She did her schooling in Kendra Vidyalaya in the states of Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh. She completed her engineering at College of Engineering, Munnar. She worked in Infosys for 3 years at Mangalore. After that, she started her UPSC preparation full-time from Officers IS Academy at Chennai. She qualified the prestigious exam at 2020 with All India rank 41. This was her 4th attempt and it was her 2nd interview. Welcome Aswathy ma'am to the portals of our institute. Now we'll start the session with a fireside chat by Nikunj, our 3rd year aeronautical student, and Ramya, 2nd year student of artificial intelligence. They are also civil service aspirants. Nikunj, shall we start with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, good morning, ma'am, and good morning, our chief guest, principal, and everyone. So, for clearing the civil services, many have few questions, and I would like to ask some questions to you. So, I will start with it, ma'am. So, my first question will be: you have been topper during your college days, and for your civil services, is it compulsory that you should be a topper during your school and college days? Because students are very concerned about that.
I do not think that you need to be a topper, but definitely within a few, it's good to pick up discipline as well as consistency. If you do it for the initial months, or it might take some time for you to develop that discipline and consistency. However, I do not think that you need to be a topper to crack this examination, because when you see the profile of candidates who clear the examination, there are many who are just who have above scored average or even below average marks. That does not count. It is that you should have the patience and persistence to develop the discipline and consistency that you require during preparation. So
sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yes.
Aswathy ma'am, your voice is not audible. It is very feeble.
Okay, I do not think that it is. Am I audible now?
Now also it is little less only. Yes, Nikunj, were you able to hear?
No, ma'am, I cannot.
No, Ramya, yeah, we are not able to hear Ramya.
Not able to hear, ma'am.
Yeah, the participants also have.
Yeah, they are posting in chat. Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Aswathy, sorry to interrupt. Can you remove your headphones and speak?
Yes. Okay, am I audible now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I was speaking to Nikunj that it is not essential to be a topper throughout your life. But once you start the preparation, you must have the patience and perseverance to develop discipline and consistency that is required for this exam. Unlike other exams, this might take multiple attempts. So there are possibilities that even the students from elite institutions might feel very scared that they could not crack it. We can take the examples of IITians or AIMS students. So definitely being a topper is not what is counted here, but you need to have the patience and consistency. And you should develop the discipline required.
Thank you for the answer, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So what fascinated you to choose IPS as
Okay,
career,
I am
ma'am?
unable to hear you.
Are you able to hear me?
Ramya, okay, Nikunj is anyway on mute. But Ramya also I'm unable to hear.
Oh.
Give me a minute.
Ma'am, can you just check your system volume maybe?
Smriti! അവർക്ക് കേൾക്കത്തില്ല ഹെഡ്സെറ്റ് ഊരി എനിക്കും കേൾക്കത്തില്ല ഹെഡ്സെറ്റ് വെച്ചാൽ കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ ആ ഉണ്ട് ഞാനിത് ഇതാക്കിയേക്കുക മ്യൂട്ട് ഇട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ hello Nikunj. Ramya, continue.
Yes, ma'am. What fascinated you to choose IPS as career, and what was the inspiration for the uniform service?
Okay. So it is that I have considered multiple factors. It is not one factor that led me to this decision. As I think I had mentioned you, my father worked in the Indian Air Force for nearly 30 years. So that stature of uniform service was already there in my mind. But then it was one of my teachers who guided me and who enlightened me that being girls, we must not restrict ourselves to administrative or even revenue services. We should take up challenge to take such services as well, where we require the presence of women. So it's not about it is about women empowerment. When we have equality in gender represented in all the services, then I feel our society will also progress. So I consider multiple factors. It's not one factor. I cannot point one factor that influenced my decision.
Thank you, ma'am. Ramya, you have some questions?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you were preparing for a very prestigious examination, an examination that's known throughout the country. So there must definitely have been some support system in your family. So how was that support system and how did it help you in your preparation stage?
Yeah. So the support system, Ramya, yeah. My support system primarily were my friends, my mentors. My family entered in a very later stage because so we know about Indian families, right? I decided to pursue civil services at the age of 26 and a half. So definitely I cannot expect from them so unlimited support. They had their concerns. So I took the help of my friends as well as my mentors. Mentors from the Officers IAS Academy Chennai as well as from Kerala. I had my mentor. So they were my support systems.
That's great.
Ma'am, you were confident that you will clear the exam with top rank. Please share with us your success strategy so that our KCG aspirants also will know how to score a good rank.
So success strategy, I would say, that differs for everyone. But with respect to this examination, what I understood is first of all, we must have the patience. There are possibilities that you do not clear continuously 4 to 5 prelims. In my case, I did not clear first 2 prelims. So for the third prelims, again, you need to have that courage that one definitely with your effort you will clear.
And secondly, you should also know, or you should also discuss with the friends who have cleared and know what they did differently from yours. In my case, I did not do enough revisions in the first two prelims. Revision of the mock papers that I attended. I attended around 60 to 70 mock papers, but I failed to revise them on a regular basis. So this caused me, this led me to lose that first two prelims. For the third prelims, I made sure that 4 to 5 revisions were completed. And fifth and third point I would want to mention is that you need to give sufficient focus to your physical and mental health also. And you cannot take this exam as a do or die situation. In my case at least, I thought I must not take it so, because that will lead to unnecessary stress. So what I would suggest that you should focus on improving your skills. If we take this exam into consideration, it is primarily, take all the stages: prelims, mains, and interview. In the prelims, you need to have the capacity to take risk. You have 100 questions and you might be knowing only 30. So how will you reach till 60 or 70 or 80? So you need to have that capacity. And for the mains, you should develop good writing practice. For the interview, you must speak with your peers and eliminate that fear of speaking in public on multiple issues. So I feel this would definitely lead you to your goal.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have a question is, what is your daily routine? Like the micro level planning you have, which help you in achieving your goal, and how many quality hours would you decide to study for the preparation?
I wake up generally when I consider one day of my life during the preparation. I wake up early in the morning, so my routine runs from nearly 4 to 9 or 9:30 maximum, 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. During this stretch, at the max, I study for 9 hours, not more than that, 8 to 9 hours. On a regular basis, if I take an average, it might be 7 to 8 hours on a monthly basis. So that was the time that I allocated. Then, in the case of other activities, I tried to maintain my physical health also by engaging in minor physical activities. I wouldn't say that I will go for deadlifting or something, but I used to ensure that I move my body and keep myself healthy by taking healthy food. And if you ask me about the subjects, I in 2019 onwards, yeah, 18 onwards, I started to write one question on a regular basis. That was my first activity. Even on the day of the prelims examination, I wrote that because it became like an activity, brain activity. So other than that, I used to revise the current affairs, because generally people don't revise current affairs. They just keep they piling up. So this becomes.
And also, ma'am, some aspirants don't follow a proper sleep cycle, and they become very anxious during exam. So, do you have anything for them?
Ma'am, we are with you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ma'am, you're able to hear us?
Yes, I am able to hear. Are you able to hear?
Yes. So he was asking, some aspirants don't follow your proper sleep cycle and they become very anxious during the exam time. What's your advice for them? And I heard a few aspirants, they get giddiness during the exam.
Oh, okay, okay. Are you, Ramya? I hope you are able to hear me.
What is your advice for them?
Yes, yes. So I tried to stick to a constant sleep cycle. Are you able to hear me?
No, ma'am. You need to remove your headset, I think.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, now. Now we can hear.
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in the case of sleep cycle, it's very essential to follow a good sleep cycle. That circadian rhythm concept has even won Nobel Prize. So why should we not follow that? Unless you maintain a constant sleep cycle, you will definitely derail your health. And let me ask you this: other than your body and mind, what else do you have in this preparation? Only these are the tools that you're going to use. And if you're not taking proper care of this, it will not work. For me, at least, it did not work. For if I extended even one day by an hour, the next day I will wake up late. Again, that entire schedule gets ruined. So it is important to stick as much as possible. I'm not saying that all the 365 days I woke up at 4 o'clock, but still, I tried my best. So it is essential.
Thank you for that answer, ma'am. And ma'am, I have one more question.
And
Yes.
you had also told us that you'd write an answer every single day that you'd practice. So practicing good answer writing is really important during UPSC preparation, and you've successfully cleared your mains twice. So what is your advice on answer writing?
In the case of answer writing, I initially started by writing answers. See, you cannot achieve perfection in the first go, neither in the last go. So do not aim for perfection at all. So what I thought is I used to take any website. I generally used to follow Insights because every day they post some 7 to 6 questions. So I used to choose which seemed the toughest for me and write whatever I knew about it before reading the article given below the question. So I used to set timer to 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, I tried to complete nearly 200 words. And after it, I read the article which is given along with the question. So that will normally be in a newspaper article. And then I added the points, whatever is not mentioned in the in my answer. After this, I did for 6 days a week. On the seventh day, I revised it. See, revision and all, it won't take much time. It's just like you just swap the pages, switch the pages, and see whatever is highlighted. I just used to use a different ink. For example, I wrote in blue ink, and then I used to write the extra points in black. So just the structure and black points I used to read. That's my revision. It's not that you have to break your head on revision. So definitely you have to practice answer writing as well as essay writing.
Okay, ma'am. So how was your first answer? Like, was it perfect? Was it up to the mark? And how many times did you have to practice to write a perfect essay? And for that perfect essay, how did you have to refine your techniques?
So as I
Earlier, I started an essay. It was, I think, I first started writing essay in 2016. When I quit my job, I had a mentor who was an IELTS guide also. So under him, I used to practice essay. But I got the real feedback only in 2018 onward, 2019 Jan. So before giving the prelims for 2019, I wrote nearly 10 essays, and those were based upon the previous year's questions. It was not perfect. When you begin, it's very difficult to write 1,000 words. So just start with 200, 500, and then progress to 1,000. That's what I did because it is very difficult. However, with time, no, you will only improve it. So strategy wise, if you ask me, I am not an avid reader. So people who read books, they find essay writing easy because they have multiple dimensions in their mind. So all what I had was my GS as well optional, ethics, only those background I had. So what with that, whatever possible, I tried in doing is in writing essay. Uh, for instance, starting with a good example, a case study, and then progressing, including quote. So such kind of things you will get when you read toppers essays copy. Okay.
So you suggest reading more for writing a good essay. You suggest reading more to. Is it okay now, ma'am? Hello.
Ashwathi ma'am, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
No.
Okay.
No?
I think there is some problem. I don't know why it is. Last time there was no problem when I attended a meeting. Okay.
How about now, ma'am?
Can you post your question? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm able to hear
Okay,
you.
so Ramya, post your question. I'll answer.
Sure.
Okay, ma'am.
Um, Ramya, ma'am?
Okay, is this your question? What are the skills that we need for aspirants?
That is from participant.
Yes,
We'll
ma'am.
be taking the participant question at the later stage. After this,
Okay, is this your question? How you prepared for current affairs and how you balanced with preparation for static portion?
No, ma'am. My question was, how did you refine your techniques to
Wait,
write a good
wait.
answer?
From Anita, if I started my preparation for UPSC, then how to approach answer writing an essay? Ramya,
yes,
should
ma'am,
I
you can
answer
answer
to
that
this?
question. Yes.
Okay. I started preparing. Okay, if you start preparing for UPSC, initial 2-3 months, do not just stress yourself because you will need some time to develop the content which is required to deliver while writing an answer. So you have to give yourself that time. 2-3 months, you have to read the NCRTs, understand and read the newspaper. So I think it will almost take 4 to 5 months for you to develop the content which is required for the answers. And once you have developed that baseline, do not think that you need to write an answer perfectly. That is the first and foremost mistake that everyone makes. I mean, most of people have that fear to write. So just don't think too much. Start writing. And in the case of essays, that's what I would say. Writing 1,000 words in first stretch will be difficult, but start something or the other. You will be able to write. While writing, you have to follow that coherence. So that is essential. It will come. What I used to do is during the essay preparation, because I did not have enough content or imagination, I used to read topper's copy. So when you read repeatedly, you multiple people's copies, you will develop some kind of ideas. And in the exam hall, that would help you. So I think I answered this.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have got a question from Sara Neshwar. Mains is approaching with less number of days and strategy for the upcoming months to balance. Okay, frequency of taking tests. I would suggest that go for one test series. One test series in any of the academies where you, okay, I don't know if the classes have started online, if it is offline or online, whatever way. Take one academies and another one question paper you choose from free UPSC material. That's what I used to do. See, there are people who take multiple test papers, like they will subscribe to GS4 forum, Vision, everything, and finally they will end up doing little. So first, I would suggest, what I did was I opted two. One was Officers IAS Academy's mains test series, and another was Visions. So Visions I solved by myself, taking 5 questions per day. And Officers IAS Academy, I followed their schedule. Whenever they asked me to come and write the examination, I did. In the case of optional, it is essential to subscribe to a different test series because optional has a very key role. In my case, last year I got only 230 marks in geography. This year I increased it to 290. So it's almost 60 mark jump. So that made a huge difference in the marks that I got and the rank that I was assigned. So do not neglect optional, essay as well as ethics because these are scoring areas. Okay, I have got another question from Ramya. How did you refine your techniques to write a good answer? Yeah. Initially, when I wrote, I felt that my answer had only words. There was no block diagram, no much fact, and nothing so much creative. So gradually, when you see the toppers' copies, and you would definitely develop that curiosity to know how to present yourself better. See, you are not in front of this examiner. All you are giving him is a copy of your answer. So that should be a reflection of your personality, right? How sincere you are. I'll take an example. So this was shared by Srishti Deshmukh. She was fifth rank holder, no, in that I think a year back.
Yes.
So she had suggested that in one of the questions, Ramsar sites were asked, and what she did was, in addition to writing what was Ramsar site, she also drew a rough map of our country and located two Ramsar sites as an example. So this would fetch you additional marks. How it so this would seem very childish, but see, what traits of your personality are being examined is time management. How are you able to manage the time wisely? Okay, how innovative or creative you are, and what is the level of your commitment. When the person sitting beside me is reluctant to draw a map, and if I'm taking that additional effort, definitely they will give me more marks, right?
Yeah.
So in that ways, you can refine the strategy. Facts, figures, block diagrams, maps. So these are the ways. Quoting of the report, giving authentic sources. For example, United Nations Organization or the Food and Agriculture Organization, the State of Forest report said this. Some people will just write State of Forest report. When your answer has that Food and Agricultural Organization, it will add more credibility. So it shows how much committed or sincere you are. So these are that will come when you write daily and you question yourself what I can do to improve my answer. Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
next, I hope I answered it. Okay, next question is how you prepared for current affairs and how you balance it with static portion. Ramya. So it is current affairs. Yeah, it's a very challenging portion for everyone. So it is like I followed a website. You can follow any website. Okay, I will not recommend any website to you because every website finally has the same content. Only days will matter. For example, one website provided one news today, another might put it tomorrow. So that's okay. Follow anyone. So I followed, what I followed was only IAS, nothing else. That is a YouTube channel. In that, every day they upload some 15 minutes current affairs video. I used to take short notes, revise it that day itself, and see that revision does not take much time. It's just 5 minutes. You write the notes, just flip the pages, and read the heading. That's all. In this on the second day, for example, tomorrow again, when I take tomorrow's current affairs, I just go back and see how much I retain the current affairs that I wrote yesterday. So you will see that you retain very little. So you will get that fear that unless you revise, nothing is going to stick in your mind. So that was kind of a daily revision, and I also followed it with a weekly revision. I did weekly revision because on Sundays, most of the websites do not upload current affairs. So you get that free time. I mean, that time slot which you have fixed for current affairs. During that time, or maybe a 30 minutes extended along with it, I just flipped the pages to see what I wrote for the entire week. So so it was my second revision. Then whenever the exam is scheduled, mock papers, I revise. So this was how I prepared for current affairs. And in the static portion, current affairs was the challenge for me. Static portion, see, because it is static, there is nothing much new in it. You just have to keep revising. So static portion also, in case of my preparation, I cannot sit with the subject for more than an hour. Forget about an hour. More than 40 minutes, I cannot sit.
Mm.
So for I used to all my entire whatever, for example, polity, I tried to study maybe one chapter a day. See, it is because I have been in the preparation for some time. I will not say that a person who wish to crack within 1 year, they have to follow this. All strategy you have to personalize, right? For me, this was the case. I observed through my observation, I understood that I cannot stick to the subject for more than an hour. So I broke it into smaller portions.
Okay.
That's how I balanced it. Now, Nikunj has
And
asked, Ramya, post
there,
your question because I'm not here.
yes,
I
ma'am.
know
Sure.
that you want to ask something. Okay, Nikunj has asked me a question. Common mistakes one should avoid during preparation. Yeah, common mistake is that I can only cite from my example. One of the mistakes was that during the second prelims, first prelims, I just wrote for an experience because I quit the job. I wanted an experience. So that I cannot count as a serious attempt. Second prelims, I wrote with full study. So what I lacked or my mistake was not revising the mock papers enough. I used to give the mock papers at my academy and score sufficiently well, but I did not go back and revise 3 to 4 times. Prelims, that was the mainish error. In the case of mains, I could not focus much on optional, but that is your pillar. So that is your foundation because it's going to fetch you out of 1,750 marks, 500 marks is allocated to optional. You cannot neglect it. In the case of interview, in last interview, not this one, last interview, I was too scared. You find yourself I found myself very underconfident, or I underestimated my strength, and that showed on my face. So they could easily see that I was stressed. Okay, so that these are the mistakes I found. Not revising, not writing. Yeah, not writing also. In the case of means, many people don't write at all. How will they manage the time then? So these are the areas. For prelims, focus on revising. For mains, focus on writing. Optional, no, not neglect at any cost. Interview, you have to prepare separately. It's not that that day you go and show your personality and you're going to be awarded marks. It comes through rigorous practice. Okay. Then Krish has asked. Okay, Krish, I will not be able to answer this question right now because I am not even called for training. My joining date is only on December 5th, so I will definitely share this experience after a year or two. He's asking what are the deputation opportunities we get after IPS training, and can you share your training experience? Okay, so I will definitely make a note of it and come back to you after a year. Then next question is Shabari. In case of optional test series, do we need to start early by Jan, or is it better to give up to prelims? Okay. In the case of optional test series, I don't know at which stage of preparation you are, but if it is going to be your first attempt, then it is better to focus on the prelims and complete the optional syllabus. Forget about the test series for now because after the prelims you can give the test series. However, you need to have the content ready. And in case of most of the optionals, the syllabus is vast. So you should have sufficient material available for each of the keyword mentioned in the syllabus. That will itself take time. So by January, if you have not prepared for optional anything, then collect the material at least and keep it ready so that after prelims you just have to read and then go and write the exam. Now you don't stress much on this, but in case if you're starting afresh for the next year, okay, this month is October. In the case of if you're planning to write in June for the next prelims, then better take optional side by side. Don't keep it for the end. At least prepare the content. Okay. Then Yeah, global hunger index. See, that report is always he's asking whether global hunger index was our government has rejected, can be quoted. We quoted it, so I cannot say if they had awarded marks or not. That is a report by a global body. So when you cite that report, it is just showing that, see, even if we reject, we know the reality. We know how malnourished we are. So that's beyond. Maybe it is a way that we are. Yes, the criteria is a little biased, but then it applies to all the nations. It's not that that criteria is exclusively designed to, uh, I would say, paint our country in dark. So that's okay. I don't think it will be a much of a problem. Sri Vishwa has asked how to handle stress and anxiety or depression or mental health related issue. Yeah. Mental health related issues are very much increasing because of multiple factors. We know the lockdown, pressure of examination, all those. So in order to handle that, what we can do is, I initially mentioned, you have to focus on your physical health. See, that sound mind resides only in a sound body. These days, we are all glued to our gadgets and we just don't move. So that will invariably have an effect on our mental health and it will affect our focus. So do some form of physical activity, whether it be exercise, yoga, cycling, Zumba, anything you want to do, just do it. That is one way. Develop good hobbies and habits that you can do. I used to read these self-help books, not read, I used to listen audio books, so I used to do that. And then have good friends. So you need to have a support system, friends, mentors. I had a mentor whom I used to go and meet on a weekly basis before the lockdown. Once the lockdown was announced, I started to keep a daily account of activities that I did, and then I sent the screenshot of the entire week to him. He used to just verify and he used to give me one or two words of motivation that good Ashwati, keep going, something. So he literally served as my accountability partner, I would say, because I'm showing him what I did every day for the entire week. It is not very easy because even the time that I wasted, I wrote it. So that in those ways, no, you need someone whom you can grip. It's because it's very hard. It's like I'm not saying it's very hard because the process itself is making it very hard. That entire time duration. So yes, hobbies, habits, mentors, exercise, all these will help. So Ramya has asked me, yeah, I think I have answered this already. Many ups and downs. How did I manage? So I managed. See, I had definitely enough ups and downs. So one is that I had hobbies and habits. I used to exercise regularly. I used to do not meditation. I wouldn't say that I do no meditation, but I used to do some form of exercise for not like 10 or 15 minutes, 7 to 5 minutes. That's all, so that I am satisfied that I have done something. And I used to listen to this audio books. And I had mentor also, whom I used to meet as well as call friends. You need the. I had my friends are abroad, so I used to communicate with them. Okay. Next question is, how to start UPSC early stage preparation while studying? Okay, that you have to manage by time management, I think. If you are doing your college studies, you will have college studies. You will have to do make some sacrifices, right? Like reducing your social events, going to social events, uh, because already you will have classes. You will have to study the portions assigned, write the exams. So how much time will you have? Maybe 1 or 2 hours. If you are starting early, just start by newspaper and static material. Even that, I think 1 or 2 hours would be the maximum time that you will be able to allocate. So that is the only way we can start. And nowadays, people also have so many coaching academies which provide these with your graduation. They provide the training. No, in case you have such facilities, try that, or just at home also you can just read the static portions on newspaper. Okay. Then there is a question about lengthy paper and how to manage time. See, management of time is crudely, it is practice. It's not some skill that everyone is born with. I have seen my friend when I was not able to clear the prelims and they went to the main stage, they were able to solve only 14 to 15 questions first mock. Towards the last mock, they increased their speed to 20. So that's what even I did. I also was able to solve around only 14 to 15 questions initially. Gradually, when you write on a daily basis, you would restrict yourself to because you have to finish the paper, you will confine your answer within the word limit. Write word limit if it is 50, 150, they say write 125, but not like 200 because you will consume the time that has to be allocated to other questions. Okay. So in that ways, you have to stick to the word limit and practice. With this, you will definitely be able to solve. And you have to have that spirit also, that regardless of the question, length of the question, I am going to complete it. Because if you give up in the examination hall, it's not going to work. Questions will be different. Some questions will be too vague. So you need to have that spirit that regardless, I am going to destroy that question. I'll write and I'll complete the paper and come. Okay, that will work. Then geography was by optional. Yeah, in the case of the question is geography was my optional. Would you recommend the same to others, and what else would you recommend? I liked geography, but when I took geography, there were so many rumors that you shouldn't take geography because geography is not getting enough marks these days. However, that was the only subject that I was comfortable with, so I stuck to it. And so I would recommend it if you have basic drawing skills, because you need to draw a lot of diagrams. In the case of geography, you have to manage the writing speed very well to include these diagrams. So only if you have interest in geography, you take it. And this is the recommendation that everyone gives for other optional subjects also. For example, I just cannot think about taking anthropology as my optional because I just don't remember those evolution and other sociology and all, which has too much of writing. So it will depend upon what your interests are. I was interested in drawing. I was interested in understanding about places, maps, etc. So it helped. Take what suits your interest. Don't go by marks which they will award. See, every year there will be toppers from all streams. Then how can we say that marks are not being awarded to that particular subject? That just don't go behind it. Now, Maheshwaran has asked, is there any way to evaluate the answers in online mode at the beginning? Yes, definitely. In the beginning, when you write the answers, for example, Insights platform itself, when you take a question and write, when you click on the question, there might be other people who have uploaded their answers. So you can compare your answers with them, with their answers, even if you do not want to upload. That's what I did for my ethics answers. For the ethics, there was a different segment that platform, Insight platform, had started for the students. So I wrote the question and compared with the others who had posted it online. So you can do it. Now, hobbies that helped. Ramya has asked me to share the hobbies that I had helped me during the preparation. See, one of my hobbies was running. I used to run on a regular basis before the lockdown. After the lockdown, I was not having the ground or sufficient facility, so I started doing exercise within my room. So this helped me to keep my physical fitness. I emphasize on physical fitness because with age, right, your body degenerates. Unless you give special importance, it will stop cooperating with any of your goals. Then secondly, I used to listen to this audiobook. So this happens simultaneously. Like when I'm exercising, I just switch on the audiobook and I listen. So unconsciously, you will pick up good habits because these are self-help books. For example, Miracle Morning. All those will sound very crazy or very childish, but no, when you listen it on a regular basis, you will unconsciously you will develop those habits. For example, I followed a morning and an evening routine, and this exercising daily, consistency, this keeping an account of the daily activities. All this I got from these books. Then Pavitra has asked, how was your interview experience? Yeah, I had 2 interview experience. So first one was a disaster. Second one was a pleasant experience. First one was a disaster because I was not prepared enough on economic concepts. They asked me only economic concepts. They asked me what is the tax to GDP of our country. That I was able to tell. But then tax to GDP of France. I told some random number and they started laughing. So this happens. That was because I was not very prepared enough. Once you are prepared enough, you can definitely crack the interview because that preparation will give you the confidence. This time the interview experience was very pleasant because they asked me directly from my detailed application form. So I was I last year I scored 157. This year I scored 187. So 30-mark jump. So I conclude that I did well. Okay, how many revision sections you have done before prelims and mains? Yeah, the revision I have revised at least 4 to 5 times. 3 to 4 times is essential. For prelims, do as much as possible because even now, after having read polity book for more than 5 times or 7 times, even now there are lines of pages that I forget. So you have to keep revising. Whether you completed the entire syllabus before prelims. Yeah. See, entire syllabus before prelims. Syllabus is what you perceive and what you set for yourself. I set for myself that static subjects, I will read this books, complete some 40 to 50 marks and do some 3 to 4 revisions. When I completed all these, I concluded that I have completed my syllabus because there is no, though the prelims syllabus UPSC is given, to be fair, there is no syllabus. Entire universe can be asked. So, and so yes, I consoled myself that I have completed the syllabus by reading the books and 3 to 4 times and solving the questions and revising them. Tips on, then Saraneshwar has asked, tips on ethics paper. Yeah. Ethics paper, you have to follow the previous year's question because many a times these previous year's questions are directly repeated. And for ethics paper, you need to have dedicated practice. Ethics paper, some people just neglect thinking that we are very ethical, but that's not how. You should have the capacity to present it in an answer. What I did was I followed previous year's question. I also followed the ethics initiative by Insights. See, when I say that I followed the previous year's question, I'm not saying that I wrote the entire question from 1 to 20. I read it through. I wrote a few which were hard. I found out answers for which I were again tough. So you have to maintain a balance. Even if you do not do one day, just don't get dejected. Keep yourself moving. Then self-study with sufficient test. Okay, some Shabari has asked, self-study with sufficient test series is better approach for GS option or we need coaching. See, that would totally depend upon an individual's level or foundation, how solid their foundation is. For me, I did self-study and I took coaching because I needed. So that totally, I leave it up to you because you have to analyze your strengths. I was unable to understand the concepts very thoroughly. I needed extra support. That is why after nearly 6 months or 7 months of self-preparation, I went and joined the coaching. So in case you plan to join a coaching, I would suggest you to first read the NCRTs from 6th to 10th at least of social science. It's not very tough. You just read it once and then go for coaching. Even the other materials like polity and all, if you are able to read it once and then go, the impact of the coaching will be too high. You will not get destabilized once they increase the pace of their teaching. So that would be, and for optional, I definitely needed coaching because it's too vast. So I didn't know how to even consolidate the material. So it helped me. Mentor or coach. See, it's always good to have mentor also, no? Because someone who I felt it was, I had a mentor, his name is Uday sir. So he stood along with me in all stages. For prelims, for mains, he set for me a target of 1,000 marks. So if we cross 1,000 marks, I would get a good rank. So this time I got 1,002. So there must be someone who is able to monitor your progress and guide you. It applies for life also. No? We are not having all the experience. So just take the experience of others. Okay. So then Ramya is asking, what's your final word of advice to our KCG civil service aspirants who are starting their UPSC civil service preparation? Yeah. What I would want to say is, see, this is not the end of your life. First and foremost, some people just think of preparing. For example, last time I met a girl. She I think she wanted to prepare for this examination. I don't know about other motives, but one of the motives was that her photo must appear in the paper, and she must clear it in the first attempt. See, don't set such I'm not saying that you shouldn't set, but if you set also, don't just stress yourself with that target. First attempt, okay, first attempt, only IAS, all that, forget about all that. This is an exam, just like an exam which you had written in your previous years, but it will take a little more time and is a bit more competitive. So you need to focus on your skills and strengths. Present your best self for this examination. So that would be my advice. That even if you take other fields, you can shine equally in other fields as well, right? So we need we need everyone. It's not that only civil servants are great. So that would be, because I've seen people getting stressed and then their health gets affected. Just avoid all that. You need to see, it's not easy, I know. You have to console yourself that you there are options. We can first to do this, we'll see others, even if it does not, we are not able to crack this. Maheshwaran asking, could you share about the ways to follow international reports on newspapers? Is the only way. Yeah, international reports. I think I picked it from the current affairs, because in the Shankar IAS Academy's portal, they have an international reports page exclusively. I mean, that as current affairs. They have segregated the reports, so it will be easy for you to remember. That would be the way. Okay. Then someone has asked me, Suresh has asked me, I am studying BSc Agriculture, how to prepare for UPSC in college. I have answered already. You are preparing for BSc Agriculture, so you would know what time you have with you. In my case, when I was preparing for BTech, I don't remember having much of time left. Yes, but I had time left, which I did not utilize sufficiently well. So, in case you have time left, start reading the static syllabus. Start by NCRTs and then progress into heavier books, those Polity, Nitin Singhania, all that. First, just don't first take that and sit, because it might overwhelm you. Okay, 6th to 10th means it's very easy, those NCRTs of social science, only of social science. So that would be the way, and start reading newspapers. Newspapers means one newspaper. You do not have time to read 3 newspapers a day. Take one, check the editorial page, read it, and do not spend more than an hour, because that is what is required. After reading Hindu newspaper, sometimes you wouldn't understand only much of the things, but that's okay. Develop that habit of reading. Okay, it will also help you in your CSAT comprehension skills. And then 3 years is Suresh has again asked me a question. 3 years is enough for complete preparation. Kindly give some tip for college students how to manage. Okay, the number of years that we are taking for preparation depends upon individuals. I think the Suresh has asked me with respect. He's also pursuing the agriculture BSc. So I think 2 years would be sufficient. 2 years or 1.5 years. It will depend upon the kind of optional subject that you select also, because if the optional subject, for example, in my case, I am an engineer by graduation, but I selected geography, so it was completely new for me. I had to start from the basics. It will take more time in such cases. If you have optional as your graduation, it will be much more easier. That would I think preparation for 1.5 to 2 years might be sufficient. how to manage the time, I think they are asking. So again, I'm saying that it will depend upon the time available for each individual. Okay, so you have to, only way, you cannot skip your college sessions, neither can you skip your examination time. So the time that is being available to that will be available to you to the max is 1 to 2 hours daily. So you have to be consistent in that regard. Maybe I think Srishti Deshmukh, she had prepared along with her graduation. So maybe you can go and see her video, what she has suggested. Because I may not be in a better position to suggest as I quit my job to prepare for the exam. So Anita has asked, what are your sources for preparation for each subject and topic for prelims and mains? Yeah. In the case of prelims, in the case, see, the sources are available across all the sites, right? You need not worry so much about the sources in particular, because there is no point. For prelims, if I suggest something, you have to find. I will suggest what I followed. For current affairs, I followed that only IS Nothing Else website, YouTube channel. And then for prelims, standard books, Polity, Lakshmikant, Economy, Shankar Ganesh, Environment, Shankar IS, that book. And for history, modern India spectrum, ancient India NCRT, medieval India, I followed T and the Tamil Nadu state books. So what other subject is left? Geography, I followed NCRT. So I think almost all is covered. I guess almost all of us are aware about these books that we must read, but just that we don't read that same book multiple times. Don't go in search for multiple books. Just read one book, but many times. Because that itself you will not be able to remember. For mains, no, what I did was, see, for mains, we had in Officers IS Academy an initiative called Steeplechase when we were preparing. So for that, they used to ask us to prepare each line of the syllabus, and then questions were framed. So I had short notes of mains topics for all the papers. See, for first paper you can avoid because that's history, geography. Geography is my optional, so I did not prepare exclusively for that. History, again, you read ancient and medieval. For those portions which is not concurrent with prelims, for example, in polity, in the second paper, paper 2, you have this governance part, which you do not prepare for prelims. So you need to make exclusive notes for that area. Similarly, in paper 3, disaster management, science and tech, all those you might neglect in the case of prelims. So that you need to have specific notes for the keywords of the mains paper, even ethics. So that is the way I prepared. You can just Google. There is no standard site I can suggest. Vision has material, Vision IAS has material. When you Google the keyword and suffix it with UPSC, multiple material will appear before you. So click on anyone, you'll get the material, and that material also just prepare for 100 to 200 minutes, 100 to 200 words only, not beyond it, because you do not have time more than that. I used to take one A4 sheet, divide into two, and one topic I used to cover it in within 1/2. Fine, right? So that is short note because you have to revise it also again on the eve of the exam. Fine. Okay. Then I follow NCRT book 6 to 12. Suresh has asked again. Then I regularly follow Hindu newspaper. Then RSTV. Already follow NCRT books. Okay, he is telling me he already follows 6th to 12th and Hindu newspaper. Then RSTV. I think that would be enough if you do all this. You just make sure that you revise and take enough number of mocks. Yeah, Ramya, I think I have answered all the questions which are posted here.
Yes, Ashwathi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, I cannot hear you. I'll just try once.
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay.
Should I answer other questions? See, one more.
No, I think this is sufficient. Yes, Ashwathi, you can remove your headset so that you'll be able to hear.
Can you type, Ramya? What? Yeah.
No.
Okay, meanwhile, before Ramya types and sends me, I'll answer to this. Shabari has asked me, what about your revision strategy before the day of the exam? How you manage the 2 days of GS? Yeah. 2 days of GS? I think it's about the mains GS. Okay, revision strategy. I generally do not keep anything for the 2 days prior to this. So I do not stress myself too much. I just go through the maps and important. I used to have this Evernote app where I wrote down the important points, that last minute revision kind of points. I used to just revise those and go. In the case, yeah, I think it's okay. Ramya has said bye, and yeah, so I think it will be fine. I hope this session helped you all.
Yes, Ashwati, we came to the end of this session. I once again thank you. Thank Ms. Aswathy Jiji IPS for accepting our invite in her very busy schedule. And I thank our management, Director Ma'am, Dr. Rani Jacob, our principal, Dr. Devasundari Ma'am, who constantly supports us for such wonderful events. I thank our Dean, all HODs, student coordinators, and all the internal and external participants. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thank you, Ashwati.